Alrighty. Let's see. Yo, Spindus, what's up? What's up? Yeah. The reason why I didn't call this summoning and testing is because I to a degree I didn't even necessarily expect we'd get the chance to test YUE out, especially because she has arena mastery, so we won't actually be able to like properly test her in arena. But the important part is we only had like 40 ancients, so I didn't even expect anything to come from this. And hey, I guess we were fated to figure out what she can do, and more specifically what she can do for Gushi. Cause yeah, as you can see, right, there's 10 there. I also don't have a way to get any more ancients, which is, well, is what it is. But yeah, as you can see, it only took us like 26. So that is pretty sweet. That is pretty sweet. So that means we can do the entire row of testing and whatnot. And we'll also potentially be able to get into Awakenings by just resetting her and then just feeding her some soul stones again. But yeah, she's here. I didn't even watch her trailer yet. Like, basically the moment I hit, I was like, okay, great, and then did something else. So let's have a quick peek. Let's have a quick peek at what that looks like. I wonder if you notice anything big if you like put them side by side. Is it just the same or is it different? I don't know. It's definitely the same style for sure. Alright, just for reference, let's see if there is a big difference between her and Gushi. Just wanna see. Yeah, okay, so there is a difference. If you can believe it. Interesting. Yeah, his is a lot more bloody for sure. A lot more with the reds. Alright, enough of this. Let's figure things out. Let's upgrade her first and then see what she does. Let's upgrade her first and then see what she does. Okay. Nope, not like this. There we go. So she's now a 6-star. Now we are a promoted 6-star. Woo! Progress. Now we're just gonna quickly skip through this to figure out what is going on with her. And then we'll see about the rest. Alright, let's see. Okay, so either ground or platform tiles, but can't block enemies regardless of where she's placed. She can only ever be deployed up to 4 times per battle and will only ever stick around for 20 seconds. If the heroes retreated manually or automatically, no cost will be restored. Okay. She deals increased AoE damage and her redeployment time is reduced by 24 seconds. And then she has the Northerner redeployment reduction as well, which means she's actually at 31 seconds. And then you could probably also put in like a Volker and then she'd go down to... Is it 25% of 30 or is it 25% of 60? So would you go down to like 45? Then 20... Is it 15 seconds? It might very well just be 15 seconds. Suyu A0... Bigger than Valara A5? That's crazy. Okay, let's see. No cost, increased damage, redeployment time. When dealing direct damage has a 30% chance to inflict a stack of Winter's Bite. Winter's Bite's supposed to be like really annoying in GVG, no? Like always has been, probably always will be. When reaching 3 stacks, it converts to freezing the target. Within Boreal Winds, any allied hero who inflicts Winter's Bite on the target with freeze will trigger a cold wave. Alright, let's see. Got Venoma, stupid game. Yep. Okay, so 120% AoE damage to up to 8 enemies. She is normal typing as well. What is this? Gains debuff immunity. Great. Reduces the redeployment time by 3 seconds for each enemy killed by the hero. Up to a full redeployment reduction. What the fuck? Okay. Bone Biting Cold. Every 2 basic attacks, the next basic deals 420 AoE damage that ignores 50 defense on up to 8 targets. And when the target is inflicted with Radiant Erosion, she also deals an extra 200% true damage. If the target's HP drops below 40% and they are inflicted with a Winter's Bite or Freeze, they get executed. Okay. In the arena, she gets 15% increased damage. Okay. And when we get Gushi, what does she get? Extends the hero's maximum deployment duration by 5 seconds. That's like really important. Because it takes her from going only 80 seconds to 100 seconds of actually doing something. That's like really important. Okay. What about the ult though? Can be triggered immediately when deployed. Auto ult. Oh, holy shit. That's a big blade. Holy shit. Okay. Puts up to 8 ground enemies in the basic attack range in front of the hero. Then deals AoE damage that ignores defense 3 times. Or 50% defense, I guess. And then up to 8 enemies in range. She puts on Immobilized State for 10 seconds. I'd say that is rather excessive. And then also 30% physical vulnerability. But this skill can only ever be triggered 1 time per deployment. Would you look at that? Then what kind of set? Oh, no. Wait. I don't know. What kind of set? Dude, I didn't get it, but I had the most whacked ancient summoning session I ever had. 104 points, 4 lords plus 1 non-lord. That is a lot of people. There's a lot of people. Holy. So, what set do we run on her? Cataclysm? I mean, what is Hell's Lament duration now like? 20 seconds. And she sticks around for 25 seconds. I mean, yeah, Hell's Lament seems smart in the 35 damage, 50 crit. But why then? Look at this. Then what are we doing with the additional 5 seconds that we get from Blade of Sacrifice? What are you doing with those extra seconds? I mean, how unrealistic would it be? Remember, she does do AoE damage. So, like... I mean, let's see. What was Hell's Lament? Hell's Lament was damage 30, but 50 crit. And Cataclysm would be 50 damage. So long as you do... but basic attacks. I mean, she does AoE basics. I'm the only one who got Suyu. Damn. Cooking. Alright, let's see. I mean, alright, let's play her with Hell's Lament then. It just feels weird. Then you might as well not get a Gushi if the Hell's Lament bonus ends up being relevant for like you know? You know what I mean. Like if it ends up, ooh, that's a lot of crit damage. If it ends up being relevant for only 20 seconds and then you get 25 seconds of usage out of her, I don't know, feels a little sad. Feels a little sad to use a set that doesn't like fully synergize. Where we can test and find out which set is best for real. Whoa! So you mean to say we are actually meant to do some testing? No. Ain't no way. Is that how it works? Is that how this works? Like, we do testing to figure out which set is best? No. No. That makes too much sense. We can't do that. Also, damn, half a milli per attempt, huh? Rings of Grace? That feels highly disrespectful. Giving her Wings of Grace. Not gonna lie. Full purpose, good. Okay. So let's see. And then let's turn this piece into something that's truly disgusting right here, right now. Watch. A bit more crit rate. We could keep. Oh, so it already has an effect. Interesting. Do we keep 2% attack, 10 attack speed? Probably we do. Because we have an easier time just getting the crit rate, crit damage. So attack percent is pretty sweet. That is pretty good. What do we have here? Fitting. Lot of crit rate. That works. That works. And I feel like we could probably try and get away with one piece of crit damage. What does it do for the Arbiters? Attack by 5, max HP by 5. Why is there an Arbiter ring anyway? Like, what the fuck? When HP drops below 50, increased damage. Yeah, great. Arbiter rings, huh? There we go. A transmutation magician. That's what I'd refer to myself as well. Yeah. Transmutation magician. Did Suyu have an artifact we needed to worry about? Like, does she have an exclusive one? She might have gotten one. You know, chances aren't even that bad. Let me check. Fuck. Nope. I mean, we could forge exclusive here, hypothetically. I mean, where would hers be? Here? We only have like 107. Who knows? I mean, we might have to do some like extra farming and whatever the fuck, but maybe we can just get lucky. Yeah. Event shop, man. I know. It's just not something we can do. So, yeah. That doesn't really help me much, unfortunately. It's way better to just, you know, end up having to pray that things work out your way. Yeah, that's like clearly superior. But yeah, damn, so no wonder her talent mentions Radiant Erosion, but there was no part of her kit talking about Radiant Erosion, because obviously the Radiant Erosion has to come from the artifact. I mean, what else if not that? 77, 90 down. We need more artifact space as well. I mean, it's gonna be fine, right? Like here it's just gonna be Moonfrost. Like out of all the potential exclusive ones, it's just gonna be the right one, and then we're gonna be very happy. Any day now. No. So we had 3 chances so far. None of them actually happened to be the one. Well, at some point there might just not be anything I can do about it. Even though I'd rather not do this without her artifact. But what can I do? What can I do? Alright, last attempt. Fingers crossed. Who knows? I guess there's some potent ones in there, just nothing that actually helps us in this case. Unfortunate. I wonder, was there way for us to like get a bunch of these somewhere? Well, I mean, there's still 27 here. Void Rift, you. Well, would you look at that? Ain't that a beautiful coincidence? There we go. Alright, so Suyu's Moonfrost going strong. Light work. Light work. Alright. Perfect. So we have the Moonfrost, which means we now have the damage increase and the direct damage plus Radiant Erosion, so that when Radiant Erosion is inflicted, she also ends up dealing more true damage, and then also I mean, 40% execute is just ridiculous, no? I think that's ridiculous. Okay, what should we do first? Should we see her impact on Gushi? Because at least his damage numbers should be somewhat familiar to us still, in the back of our minds. Or should we just see what she's all about? I don't know. Should we just see what the bond skill does for him? That is the question. See what the bond skill does for him, or see what she can do first? I do need to make sure that we end up with the same set on Gushi at least, which is why on the side.
What you mean
I'm going back to the stream to just get a reference for the numbers and then see if I can just replicate. Because I swapped a couple of pieces out in between here and there, and I didn't really save it as much of a set. Let's see. So his stat line ended up being 398, 113.5, 281, with him being purely offensive. So let's see if we can replicate that. 116, 3960, 10,000, and that's because one of these pieces went to an attack percent piece where it shouldn't have. But I remember, for example, that I used the non-main stat upgraded piece on him before this. Just questions which one, right? 389, 2 plus 281. So many pieces. Yeah, it must be one of the free ones, usually. I mean, we did... wait, 116... Let's see, 386, 10, 5, and then one of these... No, I know that we had this one, which means one of these needs to become crit damage main. There's not that many options. Down by 7, down by 3, up by 1. 387. We are missing 11 speed and around 100 attack. And it couldn't have been this piece. And I don't think I swapped these ones, which means it needs to be this one here. There we go, found it. 398, 113, 89, or 8943. Or, did I? I mean, the speed matches. The attack is just slightly off, unfortunately. It's too high. Oh no. Did I upgrade? No, did I upgrade that piece late? No, that'd be weird. Huh. What did I do? Should have just saved it as a fucking set. But I didn't. Ah, whatever. You know, at this point it is pretty much similar enough, so I don't think much is going to change there. I mean, he had this piece here, this piece there, this one, these two. It has to be enough. It has to be enough. But yeah, no, let's have a look. I really am curious what she can do, like, damage-wise. So we're going to go into stage 21 first. And then in terms of lords, it would certainly be fun to give her like a northerner lord and see her struggle. Because there's nothing offensive about a northerner lord. But then again, she kind of probably is a bit more made to be run with a arbiter lord, huh? But in terms of arbiter lord, we'd actually have to upgrade this Oran dude if we wanted to use like the most. But maybe we just use her instead. See how it goes. I think that's a decent compromise. Why do you have no gear? Ah, I think her gear might have went to like a Beelzebub. Oh. Okay. And now you, lovely lady, you need some left side gear. You do. So let's go with pretty standard things here. Brutality. Brutality. A lot of brutality. Even more attack. There's a lot of attack. Okay, 365, 79, 70, 63, 66, 77. I mean, I guess could be higher, but like, what's her attack speed interval looking like? 1.3. She has a pretty high attack speed interval. It's true she's the same like Valara, better? I have no idea. We'll find out in a bit, but I don't know who said she's better than Valara, because it couldn't have been me, because I have no idea. But no, see, what I'm wondering about is how impactful is it for her? Alright, 381, 203, 114, 14k. 5,400 attack is a fuck ton. Is like a lot. Also, what about her awakenings? Leaves Moonfrost on the current tile. While it's on the field, inflicts 1 stack of Winter's Bite. Okay. If the hero's is then deployed into the position of the Moonfrost, 10% attack boost. Ooh. Bit of attack. Oh shit. Basic attack range increase? So she can go from targeting 8 to targeting 12 and she gets fucking vortex healing range as her basic attack range? Sweet. Yeah. And then passive damage increase. And then when the hero has a shield. Great. Oh, and then yeah, okay, great. And A5 gives you an additional deployment. So you go from 4 to 5. And from 100 to 125 effective seconds of doing something. Then Let's see how she does, right? Because she doesn't really need any rage. She doesn't really need any rage. Because she can only ever ult once and she instantly does so upon deployment. She probably is a pocket nuke. Most likely. Let's have a look. Let's have a look at pocket nuke Su Yue. Okay. Alright, I think we're just gonna let the enemies get close and then see what kind of madness with the Hell's Lament set she can actually inflict on the enemies. They are dead. Yeah. Yeah. And there she goes. Poof. Gone. Wait, but why does it say 2? Didn't it say 4? Is it like still quote unquote bugged? Right here. You don't see it, but it says 2 next to her name. Shouldn't it say 4? Or like now 3 because we deployed her once? The fact that you can just also, if you wanted to, smack her on the platform tiles is pretty ridiculous. Or maybe that's like the 3 extra lives and now it's gonna go down to 0. Probably that's how it goes. No. I mean, I don't know. Looks to me like she's not quite doing what she should be. I don't know if I counted 4 deployments. It seems a little suspicious. Let's have a look. Or maybe, did it actually seem... Didn't it say max limit deployment 4? Or does that have to do with you having to go to max dupes? Here, look. Can be deployed up to 4 times per battle. I only counted 3. Because if we go back into the stage... Not this one. Let's say we go back into the stage. Now we go into the stage and this says 3. You see the number 3, right? Next to her name? This shouldn't be. That should not be the case. It should say 4. Well, I mean... No. We tried it. We played her 3 times and then she was gone. Right? Like we did try it. To see what happens. How would she even, like, was she ever meant to work in Gear 83? I don't know. But I am too curious not to try it. Alright, let's see. And I should see if she can, like... I mean, if she had 4 deployments, maybe things would be different. I don't know. But we do have Power of Dominance, which is not that great. But no, it does clearly say 3. She works, you believe in her. But that's not quite how it works, no? I mean, do any of you have her right now and can tell me that for some reason we are the... Like, we are in... we are something that doesn't quite do the same thing that it's supposed to do? I don't know. Maybe we are in a weird spot here where things are bugged specifically for us. No. No, not like getting her. Understandable. Also, damn, huh? She kinda expensive. Yeah, that doesn't work. Yeah. I mean, who could have guessed? Who could have guessed that that wouldn't actually end up working? Apparently not me. Tried a good amount on test fees like she's made for content not yet released. Yeah, but what number? What number did it show? What number did it show for her deployment? This one. Was it a 3 or was it a 4? 3. Yeah, but it should be 4, right? Unless the 4 is with her fucking A5. But that'd be stupid. You tested in Global, she's 4? Okay, I mean then it might just be bugged for me, but that's alright. Okay, perfect. So we're just using a, I guess then old version in a sense. It's a little awkward, but that's fine. It's a lot better than it not being 4 at all. Okay, let's see. What can she do against, like, I mean the range doesn't reach. Whoops. I mean, okay, that's great. Nerfed version? Yeah, probably, huh? Maybe it says something completely different as well, like, I don't know. Maybe it says, lasts for 500 seconds. Maybe this is, like, completely different, you know? Wait, what am I doing? That's not smart placements, but I really want to see what she can do against, like, the right side guy. Not that she should be able to do much against him, but I need to know. I mean, hey, look! He's stuck for 10 seconds. Okay, you know what? With him getting stuck for 10 seconds... that means she can absolutely do something against the right side, so long as we just place her down here. I mean, give her 10 seconds to kill something and all of a sudden, don't those odds look pretty good? That 10-second immobilization must be so... Wait, but how would she work in GVG anyway? With, like, limited deployment and redeployment. That doesn't sound like it's gonna work. It doesn't sound like it's gonna work. She doesn't. Yeah. Ah, we were too slow. We were too slow. She works on the left. I mean, I think she could probably work wherever she wants to. Because the thing is, range stops becoming an issue if you stop the enemy from moving for 10 seconds. Right? Like, range really doesn't mean anything if you can just hold them at whatever range you want for 10 seconds. Like, finally they've power creeped my favorite hero Damon, you know? Damon used to be the immobilization goat, but now, from 3 to 10 seconds and hitting air, he never stood a chance. He never stood a chance. No, come on. We seem to barely not have enough cost. Oh, so in life she only costs 15? Oh, that's smart. Well, costing 15 would make a lot more sense. Well then, at least I know that I don't really need to do a lot of testing today. The only thing I need to do is like check out what she does to Gushi's numbers and then call it a day, because there's no point in doing this for the most part then. That's good to know, that's good to know. Okay, and that was way too early, right? No, apparently not. So there is no such thing as doing it too early. Did you see what she did to that enemy? Holy shit. At least Liam hasn't been power creeped yet. I mean, he does HP based damage, right? I was always a Liam believer, especially with the neurotoxin and the way it works. So yeah, it was only time until he like shone again and did some crazy stuff like 324. But yeah, no, I mean, for deployments, how many waves of enemies are there on the right side though? Does anybody have a count for the amount of enemies that appear on the right side in Gear 8-3? Like in terms of waves? Like there's one guy here, then there's a wave here, then there's minimum another guy, and then another wave. It's probably, is it 4? Is it 5? Who knows? Four? Alright. Yeah, what a coincidence, huh? What a coincidence that it happens to be 4. So if she had less cost... Yeah, like, look, her ultimate is just ready to go, and then it goes like bang, and then boom, and then gone. Are you sure it's 4? Oh, you probably are sure. Then again, I feel like is like this be 2 and then be like another one. Also, look at him. He's soloing. Not that there's much point to it. But yeah, with different... I mean, let's see. So that'd be 1. Yeah, it probably comes down to 4, huh? And we can just place her down here again. I think it was too late, no? Maybe we can distract this thing. There we go. Bonk. Pew. Bam. Gone. Huh. Ah, GG. That is pretty strong. That is pretty strong. I mean, so basically she can kill everything and anything so long as it doesn't have what? Normal damage resistance? Like normal damage immunity? That is very comforting to know. You can just take her anywhere and then just be like, yep, this enemy's kind of annoying, and then you go poof and then the enemy's gone. How much damage does she deal in like one of her bursts? Let's see. A good old 1.3 millis per, and then she calls down the sword rain. These multiple attacks here. I mean, she is an AoE unit. At least that's what she's supposed to be, I'd say. Then we have some Winter Spite stacks, some Radiant Erosion. But she also doesn't seem to be applying too much Radiant Erosion. Just like a little bit. She just seems to be applying a little bit. So it's like 5 millions, a little bit more than that somewhere. And I guess if we get a unit in like this and a unit like this, just so she can survive. Something that's a bit awkward is how do you give her like his support set? Like, does it go away if, let's say, put her down, put Eloin on her, so she now has 10% attack, and then if we were to place her again, I mean 9.7 million. But that's in AoE. Who knows? Who knows? Use like an ult to see a timer reduction. I think I have to. I don't think we have him at the moment. I think we're gonna get him later, but I don't think we have a Lycan at the moment. What would it do? I don't know. Let's figure it out. What would it do? Whee! Horse. Move. Unoccupied. Forcibly retreat them. I mean, redeployment isn't really much of a problem with her, usually. And that is because she reduces her redeployment time by everything she kills. Right? Every single time she kills something, she reduces her redeployment time by 3. So long as she kills 8 enemies, she'll be good to go. So she doesn't really need it. This female hero is actually weird and bad because keep on going in and out. That's the point of her, I guess. She's meant to be. Think of her like a ultimate. Think of her like a meteor, okay? So instead of going into a fight with 10 heroes, you go in with 9 heroes and a meteor, and that meteor has 4 uses. So throughout a fight, you can decide 4 times where you think, hey, I need to place down a meteor, and then that meteor comes in and it does big boom. Yeah, that's kind of how she works. That is kind of how she works. You got both her and her, you got both him and her, but damn. I mean, let's see if we can do something interesting with her then. So we're not really going to play most of these. I mean, with the open space, 3 tiles. Debating whether or not I need a healer. See, and then you'd be there, and then you'd obviously have to go with Belzedude. And then Belzedude, we'd have to change you. Alright, let's see how this goes. Wait, she would be a solid hero if they removed that function of her leaving the field? No, but the entire reason why she does the amount of damage she does is because she ends up leaving the field. Right? It is balanced in the way that she doesn't just stay for 100 years, you know? Like, it's all, there is part of the plan. It's not like they're just gonna one day decide, hey, you know, how about we make her permanent? Ah, great. We only anti-heal the left side. That's awesome. Oh, sorry. Oh, I see. Sorry, I'm a new player, kind of newbie. So yeah, thanks for the advice, though. No problem. I mean, you should find a lot of uses for her. Just think of her like a spell. Think of her like a spell you put down, that causes havoc and destruction and then goes on a cooldown, but if you've killed enough people, you can cast the spell again instantly. I think that's the easiest way to, like, think of what she does for you. And no, I don't know if we'll succeed here. But I think it's at least gonna be a nice looking attempt.
Arise, my hero.
Okay, so we're about to see her first impact on this next wave. Oh shit, she died. That was unfortunately actually expected. I guess that happens when you push or pull a bunch of the damaging aura towards her. We should have probably just put her on the other side or just swap the placement of Valara and her so that Valara pulls them away rather than towards her. I murdered her. Yes. I murdered her right there. That is on me. Tough luck. Tough luck for the lovely lady. What can you do about it? Yeah, this could be fine though.
Arise, my hero.
Alright, let's try this again. Enemies come in. Oh no, it's Beelzebub pulling them in. Fuck. Yeah, true. It was never Valara in the first place. Well, then how do we do that? If Beelzebub pulls them in and then ends up killing them, then... Okay, this could work. We're getting there. Which artifact should you pick between Rex or Neza? Rex? Wouldn't that be like the common guy? I don't know. Neza is pretty fucking strong. Or the rare guy in, I guess.
Arise, my hero.
Ooh, can he? Yeah, he should be able to keep him alive. For now. Okay. So, once again, let's see if that works. Who died? Dahlia died. Well, that's okay. That's a chaos. Oh, but look! You see what happened to that right side? They're gone. They are fucking gone. Yeah, and now she only has around 6 seconds of redeployment time. Nah, it's the enemies that came around the corner that did her in. I did get still no clue what a kit or anything is though, or if she's any good. She's a spell. She's a nuke. She's a 4-time deployable true damage, normal damage, execute, winter's bite, immobilization nuke. A lot of buzzwords, but the crazy part is all of them are true. Yeah, I mean, this was by no means played optimal. Especially with her, like, dying one time there. Yeah, and then she would have an additional deployment here. But the version we're using here isn't the version y'all have access to on the live server. Nor is ours the same cost, because it's actually 5 more expensive. Nor are we actually properly taking advantage of her. What you should do instead is you just run 8 units the whole time, then you take someone out, put her in, and while she's out, put the other unit back in. That kind of deal. Highest execution threshold in the game? Indeed. So long as they get frozen or winter smitten. Winter smitten? Is that a word? She does indeed have the highest execution threshold of fucking 40%. And what I find interesting is it doesn't necessarily mention elites and bosses, but you just have to assume that's the case, you know? You probably just have to assume it's the case. Yo, Bamut Sukura, what's up? I mean, let's check it out again. Where was it? Yeah, look. If the target's HP... Oh, no, it does say bosses and elites. I mean, okay, it's the same as always. It's the same as always. That's good to know, at least. It's at least good to know. Yeah. I think there's still a lot of power that we probably won't be able to take advantage right now, just due to the fact that it doesn't actually work the way it does on global, which is unfortunate. But yeah, I mean, the fact, like, regardless of what you think or what it might end up, one thing that is absolutely ridiculous about her is this. What do you mean the enemies are unable to move for 10 seconds? Huh? Also, a 600% AoE damage hit 3 times? Oh, and also she pulls them in. Why? I don't know, but she does that. That's decent CC, yeah. Like, if anything, like, even if you are like, oh, I don't like her damage or whatever else, you can just place her down, and whatever the fuck she hits is not going to move for the next 10 seconds. And that is in a tower defense game, where the scariest thing that can happen is an enemy walking into your core. Like, even if everything else was questionable, which it isn't, because she also inflicts 30% vulnerability, even if everything else was questionable, that alone would be pretty damn potent. So you go in with a 1800%, 50% defense ignore nuke, a 10-second immobilization. You also have debuff immunity. When she kills stuff, she can then come back at 0 cooldown. And also every 2 basic attacks, so the faster you make her, she'll do another 420% AoE with 50 defense pen. And then if at that time the target also has a radiant erosion stack, add 200% true damage on top of the 420% defense ignore damage. And then as well, if the target then drops below 40% and they have a winter spite or freeze, gone. Gone. I don't know if she's gonna see that much play in Arena though. Maybe she will. You would be able to place her down 4 times. I think the biggest problem with Arena would be the fact that holy, there's only 5, right? There's only 5 slots you have for units. Do you really take up 1 slot for a temporary unit? Then again, 10 seconds immobilization. So maybe maybe it's that simple, right? Maybe she just goes, yeah, but look, I immobilize, and then it's ended the discussion. Okay, now what I'm really curious is, what does a Gushi look like that got a boost from a YUE? So what does a Gushi look like that got a boost? What we are now talking about right here is this. The Karma Incarnate 20%, 150% damage hit, and how that influences his damage. We obviously test like a couple awakenings, right? Like A0, A2, A5. See what exactly does what where. And just because we're just gonna run another Silas next to him again. So that Silas so he can feel a little sad. Because everybody deserves to feel a little sad sometimes. Yep. That is what we should be doing. Alright, let's see. No, those stats are kind of horrible. None of these are upgraded. Wait, do you have gear? Nastier, do you have gear? You don't. Okay. Okay, 391, 285, 9k on a 25 artifact. Ooh, do we upgrade his Pathbreaker to 25? Probably later, because the numbers from yesterday were with his Pathbreaker at 10. So, alright, let's get a clean comparison to what kind of damage amount the bond skill actually adds. Let's get a clean look at what you can expect. Yo, Edson, what's up? What's up? Welcome, welcome. Alright, let's see. Okay, go time. A0 Gushi with bond skill. What changed? Ah, no, we used the Raka yesterday. Hey, Alex, log in. Good to see me back. Yep. That's great. Yeah, no, wait. That's pretty good. Okay, where's the Raka? We need you. We need your services. You need to provide inspiration. Or not inspiration, invigoration. Or I guess, wings of a Gresu. No. I mean, that's alright, but no, it's not the same way we did it yesterday, so might as well keep it consistent. So, boom, bang, bop, boom, bam, boop. Okay, and let's see. So you have the buff, you can switch. You do not insta-ult, which is awesome. Because we now need to wait for second stage. Oh yes, statistics. There we go. Okay. So we are 53 million down. Now, come on. Show me something exquisite. Wait, no. His damage only influences the Karma incarnate state, right? So nothing should actually change with his output here. I mean, at least it's gonna give us a baseline then. To see how useful it is. Yeah. This doesn't even, shouldn't even influence the damage here right now. Because we never entered the Karma incarnate state. Haha. Haha. Alright, let's see. So he should end up at around 170 something. Oh, a little higher than that, huh? Not bad. Mm, 194 or 195 even. 195. But this doesn't have anything to do with this does not have anything to do with YUE, because only during Karma Incarnate, which only happens at stage 1 or below, does this affect him. So, what we now need to see is, first we just insta-ult, see what it leads us, and where it leads us in terms of damage, and then we do stage 1 plus infinite ulting. Let's see, 12%, 12%, yeah. Okay, so, with ulting from the very beginning, and the bond skill, how will this go? Are you pulling for her? We got her already. We got YUE already to test out here, but the problem is the version we have is not the version everybody else has, which is a little awkward. Think her A5 should be an A1, then it's a good combo with an A1 like him. Yeah. But I don't know. I think the A5 is... Okay, yeah, the A5 is so potent that it does maybe feel a little bad that it's so far behind. Let's see. Now, is he gonna do more than 170 or 190 million with this state? Be interesting. I mean, this is instant ult spam, but he is slightly behind the Silas. Then again, Silas will top out at like 190. So like being slightly behind, okay, 170, being slightly behind 190. It's not the worst. Oh, no, that's not quite true. Silas is actually going to be less. And that is because we don't apply the vulnerability anymore. Silas is actually going to be less. Which also means that he's going to be less. Because his pace is Silas' pace, and Silas's pace is worse. Yeah, we lost around 30 something million by ulting from first phase, or like from the get-go. So even with the bond skill, we're still 30 million down. What about... We're just gonna smack her in here. We're just gonna have her in the fight, just so y'all know that we do have her at least active. But what about going to the first stage and then ulting? Why it not be the same version as the one we have? Because this is an account that, for I guess the sake of fairness and whatnot, isn't on the same servers as everybody else, if that makes sense. It's basically a live account, but not a live account, for example. Alright, here we go. And now we should insta-ult. Let's see where this leads and what kind of damage amount we can expect here. From stage 1 infinite ulting YUE. Ooh, A1 should be rather big though. And that is because A1 would just give us more rage towards the next, towards every second ultimate. So that could be a bit more significant of an improvement. So it's definitely higher than if you were to insta-ult, right? Going stage 1 and then ulting. And that is because you get the benefit from stage 1 plus Karma Incarnate. But it's not quite as high as if you were to just have him go to the final stage, which is what you would expect. Or at least what I ended up expecting. But the real question is, seeing as how all the other awakenings increase Karma Incarnate damage interactions, what changes then? So, what do we have? We have A2. So A2 is not gonna do anything, because we're never gonna go to the third stage. Unless, obviously, for damage comparisons. Have to say her A3 seems pretty good as well. Yeah, her A3 is kinda nuts. But she is an ancient exclusive, and getting her 4 times total is a tough question. But like this thing is a little disgusting. Making it so that her basic attack and ultimate can target 12 instead of 8 targets. And this like gigantic Vortex X range. And also this is on a ground tile as well, right? Like you could just place on a ground tile and get this rather insane range. And now here the A1, yeah, the Moonfront, I think the Moonfront is pretty cool. Where I do wonder how big right? But within 2 tiles every 3 seconds. So it's just another way of applying even more Winter Spite. And it's a 10% attack increase. Right? Like a 10% attack increase is pretty sweet. The shield is like, well, it's a shield. A4 in Bone Biting Cold. So the passive even more multiplier. So like by 20 on a 420 base. And then increased by 10 when there's a shield. And then here obviously the final deployment number. Taking her up to 5. Right? Taking her up to 5. That is sizable. The best part of the A1 would be the frostbite. Guess for executing attack percent. Yeah, yeah. I mean, Winter's Bite is also just the fact that it freezes, right? So that means she has a mobilization on her attack, and then at some point, even when the immobilization runs out, she might even just end up freezing them. Or I guess she could freeze them while she isn't even deployed. But yeah, I don't think a 10%, yeah, I don't think a 10% attack multiplier is something to joke around with, especially if it turns out to be a final attack multiplier. Like, we've seen other effects like this. Just imagine it as like a Wings of Grace effect, where this one here obviously takes whatever attack they have and increase it by 12, and then this further increases it by 10. It can get rather ridiculous relatively quickly. Okay, so let's get the baseline Gushi at A2 and see how many yeah, this is just give us a baseline in terms of like full level performance, and then see if it makes sense to still use them early. No, it's wrong placement. I can do better than this. That wasn't quite as clean as it could have been. Alright, and now we need to wait 150 seconds. That is a long ass time. Alright, so that's 50 seconds. Well, I guess luckily it's half because we're playing at 2 times speed, but still the same thing. Now that's 100 seconds. And 150. Okay, there we go. Once again, we're 60 million behind. Gushi, do your magic. Alright, do we get another ult off? Barely. And there we go, 215. 215. So now the question, did the A1 change enough to change any of these numbers? Did the A1 plus Su Yue bond skill do anything? Let's see. Because the A2 surely didn't do anything. Which means, bam, bam. Might as well just activate this one early, not that it changes. Whoops. Not that that changes anything. And then here it should just be wait 50 seconds and then activate. Okay, and now he should get like a little bit more ult uptime due to the fact that every time we take half a bar and then delete it, we get 30% rage boost. Which means we, yeah, go into more ults. Like for example, here we triggered the full rage boost. In other content, you could wait less time for the level up of his kit, right? As each attack can hit up to 2 people per attack. That is true. If there is multiple targets to hit, but that's also not. I mean, yeah. If there's only, if there's 2 targets to hit, you obviously level up faster. No, wait. No, I don't think he does. I think it's based on the amount of times he does his basic rather than the amount of hits from the basic. No, it shouldn't change anything. Otherwise, I feel like I would have noticed yesterday in Gear Raid 3. Huh. No, I feel like I would have noticed that if that was the case. It didn't feel like, for example, twice as fast there. No, it's probably per basic rather than hit count of basic. Was it now better or worse? I mean, I don't... 188 million for him having to be A1 for this to work, but it's still not as high as if you were to just go stage 2 without bond skill. But it is, I guess, a lot more consistent and a lot more pieces of content at least. I don't think I have enough attempts on the dragon. Oh, so I need to get more attempts on the dragon? Okay. Let's make sure we get enough attempts on the dragon then. Thank you for the reminder. Okay. So now that we aren't going to run out of dragon attempts, let's think about this and see. Is there anything else that's like particularly... See, what I find interesting is this A3 effect where it says that Karma Incarnate's duration increases by 10 seconds. And Karma Incarnate is this what we get here from the ult, where we enter Karma Incarnate for 30 seconds. Does this have a cooldown? Because the shield doesn't. So What I'm curious, and what we are about to test right now, is something that's only possible once you get him to A3. And that's kind of stupid, and it doesn't really have a real world application that I could think of. But I want to see if it works. So we are going to go in. And then I want low redeployment time people. Fast revival. I feel like there's somebody missing there. I feel like somebody's missing there. There should be, I don't know, somebody else. Yeah, obviously Volker, yeah, but no. Laurel? Does Laurel have low redeployment time? Did she? No, right? Like, probably this Arbiter dude, right? But I don't think we have him right now. Yeah, we'd have to summon, yeah. Yeah, okay, so we're missing 2 low redeployment Arbiters. The reptile person... Oh no, we have it. Wait, doesn't he have reduced deployment time? Maybe not. No, he's cost gen. That's different, right? Maybe. I could have sworn it would have made sense for him to have a lower redeployment time. Yeah, the tactician dragon, we don't have him yet. We should get him in a... We should get him in a bit, but I don't know exactly when. So... When we get him, we'll get him. For now, we don't have him. And, Decimus. Yeah, why didn't... Like, but Decimus has 18. Why didn't it show us a Decimus? Scam. I think they wanted us to forget that Decimus is a thing. And that's inexcusable. Yeah. So what we're about to try... is we're about to try and see if we can make the Karma Incarnate state permanent. I want to try and see if you can take advantage of the A3 to make the Karma Incarnate state permanent. Yeah, he's already in here. Aatrox's already in here. Cerberus, but doesn't Cerberus increase his redeployment time rather than decrease it? So, we're going to put him in. And we're going to put... No, this placement doesn't work. So, what I'm thinking is we need to find a placement where... all of these units share the fact that they're ground units, so that's great. So, we need to put 2 units next to him. And then Karma Incarnate state should be when we activate the ultimate now. Right? But I don't know if we can see the duration of Karma Incarnate anywhere. Okay, what happens if I now put somebody next to him to disable the buff and then take somebody out? Did you see what happened to the bar? Who saw what just happened to the bar? Who saw what just happened to his ult bar, huh? Any takers? Anybody wants to tell me what they just saw that happened to his ult bar? We now have a 100-second ultimate duration. I am not sure. I am not entirely sure what the point of this is. And if it will ever be useful. But you can indeed have him infinite ult. So long as you have 2 sources of placement that have less then a 10-second cooldown in between each other. See, there you go, 108 seconds. 115 seconds. So he is indeed capable of infinitely ulting, which I think is pretty fucking awesome. That's what I thought he was gonna do yesterday with the description, and that's what it actually ends up doing, which I think is deeply hilarious. So, then let's make sure his ultimate is his most powerful state. So we need to level him up first, one time. We might need a bit help. We might need a bit of help. The timing is a little awkward. The timing is a little awkward, so we'll probably just use a Silas. To make sure that we can get done what we need to get done. So here he comes in. Meteorite Impact. Infernal Roar. So now we're just gonna make sure that we can at least deal with that shield. There we go. Alright, and now it's go time. So, we put him in. We get the ultimate activated. And now that the ultimate is active, the duration is 30 seconds. He should still be in Karma Incarnate state. Unless I misremember. No, he's A5! Wait! Wait! No. He is already in this state. We don't have to do all of this. Yeah, because we jumped from A2 to A5 instead of to just A3. Okay, you know what? Then let me upgrade from A2 to A3 because it doesn't really affect anything else, and I don't want to spoil myself yet with the A5 potential. I really don't want to spoil myself yet with what kind of numbers we can expect if he were to like perma ult at that time. So let's get him one up. Let's get him one up there, and I just want to see what changes, right? Because if you have him only A3, you should best wait 50 seconds before you do it. If you have him on A5, you can instantly do it. That's kind of the distinction. Once again, just because he has an infinite ult doesn't mean it's good, okay? Remember. Just because his ult might be able to be used infinitely does not mean it's good. Okay? Does not mean it's like something you absolutely have to invest soul stones into or anything like that, because it's unproven as fuck. It is unproven as fuck. Like, nobody's yet to prove it to do anything useful at all. Did we swap him out? Or is this still the same version? I think we didn't do anything, right? We just upgraded the dude, and then he's still the A5 version in here because the sword's already gold. Yeah, so we did nothing. But we're actually gonna do something now. So let's get him in. Give him the artifact. Swap it out. Okay, am I finished with my testing for like the YUE bond skill? I am. Okay, not quite, not quite. We'd still have to test like the A5. But I want to do this first. Okay. Working as intended. I mean, it does say exactly what this does in its description. And it does not mention a cooldown for the ult increase. So it's working as described. Let's call it that, okay? It's working as described. And also, you obviously don't need to take as many units as we are taking. And that is due to the fact that, oh, let's hope we didn't activate Silas a little too soon. Oh, it's gonna be close. But that's due to the fact that, where was I? I lost my train of thought. Due to the fact that you only need to make sure that every 10 seconds you end up placing a unit next to him. Like just one, or taking a unit away. Wait, doesn't this mean we could get... Okay, it doesn't change much in the grand scheme of things, but you could technically, instead of putting in a third and then taking them away, you could swap out the second unit, take those away, then... Whatever. Let's wait for him to gain his stance. And there we go. So, look at this. 49 seconds, right? You see it, I see it, everybody sees it. Poof, bang. 57 seconds. Poof, bang. 66 seconds. Poof, bang. 75 seconds. Poof, bang. Come on, I can't click. 84 seconds. Does this count? It does not, okay. Or did it? It did not. So yeah, 96 seconds. 96 second ult. I meant to say 103 second ult. You know, wait. 113 second ult. 100 and, yeah. So 100, we now have a 2-minute ult. Bring release if the summons were to work. I don't know. I don't think summons work. So we now have a 121. 127. 135. 144. 154. So he will now ult for the rest of the fight. We now have achieved 150 seconds of ult duration, which means he's now gonna ult these last 3 minutes, basically. No. Good on him. Probably because there's no content worth doing this. I don't know. Like you don't have to take everyone and put them next to him. The only thing you have to do is place a unit and take a unit away from him at minimum every 10 seconds. So if you had 2 units, like for example, let's see if we could permanently keep him at... Let's try and keep him above 80 seconds for like the next few minutes. By just placing 1 unit, 2 units. Like look at this. He is now at 100 seconds and this guy will be back in 10 seconds. And with him being back in 10 seconds, we can place him again. So that, you see, we are now 17 seconds above our target. Without placing anybody else. where we can then also place him again. We are still 15 seconds above. Now we are 22 seconds above. Dude would need to be doing 10 million per hit to make it worth the most content. He would at least need to be able to deal with the Abyss Shield on its own, yeah. But I think it's pretty cool. But he does, I think he'd probably do... I mean, how much damage would he end up doing per hit in a permanent state? But see, okay, you don't even have to think of it as a permanent state. Just think of it as a way of maybe increasing the duration of his ult. This 50% penetration and airborne attack state. Just think of it as a way of increasing that by, I don't know, let's say 20 to 30 seconds. You still take it from a 30 to a minute long ultimate. But yeah, I'm sure there's a use for it somewhere. The only issue is, I couldn't tell you what that use would be. I really don't know what, where, how, and when you would do that. Did it work? Would it work with the tactician moving spots? It would. That is... Oh, you are actually absolutely correct. That is a lot more important. And that is because, look, it's about how many units are adjacent. Meaning, if you had somebody next to him, were to move him away, that would count. Or if they would be next to him and you'd move them back to him, that would also count. Basically, the effect always triggers the moment you go back into the exactly 2 condition. So if there's 1 unit next to him and you put another, that works. Or if there's 2 already and you take 1 away, that works. Or if there's 2 already and you put 1 together, that also works. Abomination really was ahead of his time with the permanent ult. Yeah. Abomination truly the forefather of Gushi. That's what this means, yeah. Abomination is Gushi's forefather, for sure. So you could just move 3 tacticians in and out every ult? You could. And that would double the ult duration. But it doesn't have to stop there. Like, think of it like this. So long as every 30 seconds you move 3 tacticians, he's going to stay in ult permanently. The only problem... okay, I guess what makes this balanced, what makes this entire thing balanced, is that his most powerful state still ends up being stage 2 or stage 3, and he cannot stay in perma ult after stage 1. Because it's all about this Karma Incarnate state. It does not increase the duration of Blade Anima. Right? Like, the only thing this does is... You could say the A3 plus Infinite Karma Incarnate state takes the most advantage of the bond skill, in that the bond skill gives you the 150% extra damage on a 20% chance. And you also permanently get the 30% crit damage, 15... Oh, that is important. Remember, while he is in this ultimate, he restores 15% max HP per basic. Every single time. So he's not just staying there for 150 seconds, but for the next 150 seconds, he will regenerate 15% max HP per second. Can you test if it works if a tactician moves a spot, but not out from his range? Alright, sure. That's also an interesting call. Because technically they are leaving their place, right? Yeah, let's take the gear. Okay, great. Moradin, awesome. Let's see. Let's see what happens. Alright. So, let's place him down. Place one other unit down. Activate his ult. Move in a tactician. Which is going to trigger the effect, making it 48 seconds. Now, we're going to take that same tactician and move him a tile forward. At least that's what I want to be doing. There we go. And he's still at 48 seconds. So that did not change anything. It would have to be out of range. Because he still stays within his aura, I guess. But for example, yeah, we could do something like this, where here he gains the equilibrium. We place them here. And then twofold. We move him in. Which means we lose. No, okay, let's do this properly. Right? Let's do this properly. So place him down. Give him the buff. Give him the full buff. Right? He's now in the buffed state. And his ultimate, you can see, 49 seconds. Now we place him right in next to him. Which makes it so that let's see. 49 seconds, and then we take Moradin, and then we move him. Which still brings us to 49 seconds. Wait, does the A5, so no, why are we now in 51 seconds? What the fuck? What is going on? 57? No, yeah, so everything is working properly. It takes me too long to do it, I guess. I think that the thing that kind of threw me off was the fact that the duration didn't seem to have increased, because, like, let's say it like this. The ultimate duration is initially 49 seconds and he goes down to 38, and you go back up 10. That doesn't mean the final duration now says 59. It's gonna say 48. But he still stays longer. So, okay. Goes in. Gets his 2 units. Which means he starts the ult with 48. But this... Oh yeah, because we destroyed the state rather than build the state for the ult. Which is why it didn't do anything here. So what we'd be best off doing is instead do this. Do this. Then ult. So now you can see he's at 39. 43. And then here, and then we wait, and then Moradin. I insta-activated the ultimate rather than moved the guy. Whoopsie. 1, did you try the wood-elf? Yes, I did try the wood-elf. And does the ultimate duration increase affect the next ultimate? No, I think it just increases the state of the current ultimate. Like, I think also the only way this works is if... I mean, okay, sure. Fuck, let's find out. So. Now, what is his ultimate gonna be like? "39 seconds. So, the only thing that influences him is if he's entering his ult with the state already active. Try with Guldrog's clones. I mean, somebody also said something about Akira potentially changing something there. Hey, what you gotta keep in mind is, for the most part, I'm not terribly too familiar with what these people even do. But sure. I think we do have a Guldrog. Maybe. Maybe not. We don't. Unfortunate. We're gonna get one at some point within probably the next week or so. But for now we can't do it. But we do have an Akira. But I don't know what she does. Let's see. Immediately gains 1 Phantom. Okay. Which awakening does it for him? A3. What about the Diabolic Duke? Okay, let's see. So, 1, 2... No, it does not affect his state. You see how there's a summon next to him, but his state is still active? So Akira doesn't affect him. How do you know how much hair Destin has? But that's crazy. When Guldrog leaves the clone, Gushi passive is gone, then redeploy passive activates again. Do you have that confirmed? Because that'd be pretty awesome. Because every single thing you find here that does make it work means that this thing goes ever so closely to actual relevance. Right? That means this goes ever so closely to actual relevance. Reduces redeployment time by 30 seconds. Triggers spawn. After 40 seconds, the hero retreats from the battlefield and creates a vestige at his position. The vestige cannot be healed and inherits on... I mean... Yeah, but that's just because Guldrog leaves, right? What's so good about it? It increases his ult duration by 10 seconds once you have him A3 or above. Like, okay, think of it like this. If you ult at 0 or stage 1, you get 10 seconds every single time you can trigger his Sword Bond Resonance. So if you can deactivate, activate, deactivate, activate, deactivate, so on and so forth, you can have him be infinitely in his ult state, so long as it's stage 1 or below. That's what the A3 does, right? Here, if he is currently in Karma Incarnate, the moment you trigger Sword Bond Resonance, it improves, right? It increases the duration of the ult by 10 seconds. So if you find a way to reliably do it every 10 seconds, then that means he's infinitely ulting. Not that there's a crazy part to it, but yeah. Yeah, but remember, Suyu has a limited deployment, right? You have a question. You do have an Araka. Should you pull for Yuba or save for Nasty and complete your poison team? I mean... Yuba is pretty damn strong. I guess the question is, what where do you want to achieve more? Like, I think Yuva would definitely be pretty damn useful in obviously Gear Rate 3 if you still need to go to like 23, 23, 24. But Nastia could just be the poison solution for Abyss, or I don't know, Mage, wherever you use her, right? I don't know. Both are pretty good. Just from like a personal standpoint, I like Nastia more. You're stuck in Abyss at 25k? See, then maybe you would want to finish the poison team. Huh? Maybe you'd want to finish the poison team instead then. Alright, let's do a 10 and see if we get something useful. Nope. Nope. Nothing useful. Okay, nothing to see here. Good enough. What is this? Yeah, okay. So one thing I wanted to test was... yeah, just his damage output at A5 with the bond skill at stage 1. Let's see. I know his A5 damage is around 300 millis, right? His A5 damage should be around 300 millis. So can his A1 insta ult state come any closer to that? That is the big question here. Alright, let's be a little fairer and let's place these people a little quicker. Alright, let's see. So, damage to beat is 300 million. Can he do it? I highly doubt it, but it is very much possible. Look at that healing. 5,000 health, a basic attack. Brother is not dying if he can do something about it. But I'll say it again. If he was Piercer Nightmare, he would be that much more incredible. Yeah, if he was a Nightmare unit, holy shit. The amount of basic attacks, the amount of extra basic attacks, the amount of potential healing under something like a Ragnar? Rangar? You know his name. The other Nightmare Lord. Raiga, see? Close enough. Close enough. Yeah, I'm not really seeing 300 millis. But it is still a pretty respectable 240 for the fact that he kept ulting and ulting and ulting. Okay, now Let's actually get, like, I want to see his top end. Let's actually get the artifact up from where it was at just 10. Because I have all my numbers. Not really looking for anything else anymore. Also, I'm curious what kind of final multiplier value the plus 25 gets to. I mean, look, it's already above 30%. $35. So 35 on the Pathbreaker. 10% attack, that's pretty good. We might actually just keep that permanently. Can we get above 1,000? Oh, nice. Okay, perfect. And then, I mean, let's try a few more. 3% crit rate, no. 5% healing, no. 7.5% HP, no. 8.2% attack is obviously worse than 10. $14 out of 50. Yeah, I think 10% is already pretty good. If this takes so long, they should remove the animation to do a 10 roll. Probably. But usually you wouldn't be using the same amount, you know? Ew, 11%, but it's defense. Oh shit! 13.8? Okay. Alright. Now, how about... What else can we do? Jesus indeed. No? You haven't seen above 10 in your life? Yeah. Streamer client. Not quite. But yeah, above 10, I mean, I guess there's a reason why the roll range is 10 to 15 and 13.8 is pretty high. The 10% attack roll would be god tier. The temptation is strong to just keep this like this and then just end up re-rolling the attack bonus. Yeah, sure, let's do it. No? No? Okay. No? Okay. Come on! There we go. It looks a little better. Okay, now that we've done that, we need to... Interesting. Wait, perfect? This shit is guaranteed to give you max stats? God damn. That is kinda nutty. And no, we didn't use a perfect. No, that just happened. What the fuck? Yeah, well, apparently you can also just hit maximum value without them. Somehow. Hey, above 50%, let's go. Aww. Hey, let's go. 3.9 and we're done. I'm tired. I am tiring of this re-rolling. 3.9 is where I say, hey, that's pretty good. 3.7, I mean... Okay, yeah, 5.2. Say less, say less. I'm already gone. Poof. Gone. Never to be seen again. 30. 35. 30. 35. 60. Okay. Looking good. Okay, let's see. So that's purple, you're gold, you're gold. 88 on 75 on 8. Why is there so many 88s? That cannot be a coincidence. There's... No, we could get a variant here, right? It's just... Variant mythic weapon, yeah. So I just need to find a variant mythic weapon that we can then reroll to make this a little bit more silly. So let's see. You would work. You would work. But then we actually... Oh, I mean, let's see. Come on. 35. But it needs to be a shiny one. No, it doesn't need to be a shiny. It just needs to be a... So, 69. What about you? No? Okay. I don't think we can make it mythic, right? So... And then here we need to recast. 87 is pretty sweet. The attack bonus is kind of a bitch. Wouldn't he be better in Cataclysm with the Infernal exclusive? Ooh, honestly, I don't know. Pierce exclusive. Obviously, anti-air damage wouldn't be that useful. Upon casting the ultimate, but it's only for 12 seconds. I mean, yeah, I mean, more penetration wouldn't be the worst thing ever. Does he open up his ultimate with like a big bang? No, he does not. He just enters a state. So. I'm not even too sure what kind of stat line we're looking for. But I know the stat line I'm looking for when I see it. What could be a ridiculous, like, perk? What could be a ridiculous gear perk that we could get on this? Alright, let's keep it. Let's keep it like this for now. Let's see. What could it be? Attack, crit rate, and crit damage by 5 for 5 seconds? No. Too long of an ultimate duration. Attack by 2 and speed by 10 is... yeah. No. Dealing single target damage with a basic attack chance has a 2% chance of transforming the target into a critter. No. When deployed, increases attack by 5%. Probably. Now we just have to give a movable object to something else. And then, yeah. So, we have Unstoppable Force. We have Renewed Vigor at deployed for 60. Increase attributes by 5%. I mean, we can try and see if we can build a good... Cataclysm set, and if it does, I mean, you know what? What better way to test and see if it does or doesn't do more damage by like testing it to see if it does or doesn't do more damage? Like, it doesn't get much smarter than that. So how about we also build a Cataclysm set? So let's take this. I'm just gonna save it as a plan. Gucci. Yeah. Gucci. Fuck. Okay. Gucci. That's going to be fine. So our stat line to beat is 419, 288, or at least the stat line to come close to. That's gonna be annoying. Would Sagat A0 be a waste? I was kind of happy about him, but I don't know about that A0 currently Overlord without them. I have no idea. Honestly, I cannot tell you. On knowing if A0 Sergei is a waste, I might just be the wrong person to ask right now. Maybe you can come back in like 2 to 3 weeks, and I could tell you. But for now, I'm about as much as an expert as you are. On the note of if or if not. Wait, you tell me a hero is strong at A0, but like when they get an additional dupe, he becomes better? Nah. But that's a lot more useful. I'm using him in Overlord at the moment. That is a lot more useful. Much better. See, this would have helped. Much better implies that potentially he might not be able to perform what you expect him to do. Huh? Okay. We need a really good Cataclysm bangle. Maybe preferably from the get-go. No, I think we should first work on the faction exclusive one. So we know what we're dealing with. Piercer. Oh, that's two bad stats. What are you? Here we'd have to introduce crit rate. Or we could let the crit rate fall away. If we have enough crit rate elsewhere. That would work as well. Yeah, and this one is non-ancient. But is that a problem? Apparently not. Oh, it is a problem because we cannot preserve. No, regenerates. Yeah, regenerates one stat, regenerates all. So it would have to be mythic preferably. Or just straight up perfect. But these two are non-mythic. But it has a good stat. Okay, let's see if we can find enough crit rates elsewhere. But it's even less likely. Well, tough luck. Tough luck. Wait, what happens? What happens if you change the state and one of the pieces is already red? Does it go away? Okay. Yeah, it does go away. Okay. So technically you could reroll until you hit unrivaled power to then hit something that's actually good at maximum percent. Huh. How long would it realistically take to get unrivaled power again? How many options are there? 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24, 27, 30, 32. So 1 in 32. So like 3%. That's some good odds. Some good odds. Nah, we're just gonna leave it. We're just gonna leave the piece alone. Just gonna leave the piece alone. We don't have any. We don't have any perfect cataclysm pieces. Unfortunately. We could make one. Wait. Wait. What the fuck happens when you take a piece like this? And then you change the red stat? What the fuck happens then? Huh! Huh! Would you look at that? Would you look at that? You can actually reroll into another red stat. That is hilarious. That is very interesting. Now, if only we could, but like, okay, you know what? We can work with this piece, like so long as we don't end up with no crit rate. 660 attack, holy shit. Holy shito! Why is it rolling only garbage stats? Because all the good ones are already away. Look, No crit damage to roll, no attack to roll, no crit rate to roll, no attack speed to roll. The only two good ones would have been attack flat or rage, right? Those two would have been the only ones to actually make a difference. Okay, we need to unveil. We need to unveil a better infernal bangle somehow. We need to unveil a better cataclysm. No, but no, these are only bangles. Fuck, I don't want to forge though, cause this could take for fucking ever. Yeah, and my gear storage. So that's not happening. Making these two pieces work together is gonna be really hard. I don't think that works. I don't think that works. So, getting him to take his exclusive set with Cataclysm while trying to keep the same stats is gonna be kinda silly. Okay, and now for the middle piece. Cataclysm. Crit damage. Ah. Well. We don't have any Cataclysm crit damage. Okay, then fuck it. I'm not doing this. We're just using Gucci Gucci and we're going to see what Gucci Gucci can do. Yeah. Gucci Gucci, he's going to figure the world out. He's going to show us what a Gucci is actually capable of. Alright, let's get it, Gucci Gucci. Show us. Your current record without the 25 artifact, without the gear enhancements yesterday, was 298 millions. Can you do more? Obviously, but how much more? That is what we need to see now. How much more can you do? And then we can also obviously introduce a Yova after. And the reason why we're not doing it instantly here is because I want to know. I want to know the exact like difference between him now and him yesterday. Kind of sucks if you want to keep the one that's rolled as red by just raising the others. What happens if you have a perfect red rolled stat and then try to roll the others? I don't know. Also, there's two theories I need to test. Number one, what is more damage? Waiting for stage 3 and then starting to ult? Or going to stage 2 and then starting to ult? Because the moment you're at stage 2, you do not lose progress towards stage 3 anymore. So, this here should now end up being somewhat like 300 million. But the question is, can we go even higher? Can we get much higher? But yeah, so we've broken 200, 90 seconds left. 250, 80 seconds left. Do I think she's worth pulling for? She's like a spell. She's like a pocket nuke. I think if you have the ancients, 10-second immobilization is super nutty. Goddamn, look at this. You see this? 370. 383. So, just by upgrading the artifact and enhancing the gear rolls, his damage went up by 84 million. And you know what the interesting thing is? This has nothing to do with YUE, right? She really does not affect this damage. I just can't think of where she would actually be super useful. I don't know, I think she's gonna be useful in... Okay, you know, I think it might actually be tough. I think 8-man content is where she would shine most. Because then you'd at least have the ability to rotate something else in. I think 10-man content is probably gonna be rough. Because 10 men just means all 10 can stay on the field the whole time. But with her having 4 or at A5 5 deployments, you could probably cook with her anywhere. One of the things I thought of, or I tested out and it works incredibly well, is using her to take care of the right side in Gear 8-3. Like you can actually take her into like, for example, 324 and just use her to take care of the right side. Because the moment she hits the enemies, they don't move anymore. And what is more important is by the moment you place her down, she doesn't actually use her ult immobilization unless something moves into her range. Oh, she's gonna absolutely be able to cheese stages. Like, the only way she wouldn't is if they were to introduce anti-immobilization or like debuff immunity. But like, think of it like this. She is a 4 deployment nuke with defense pen neutral damage that also inflicts a 10-second immobilization in a tower defense strategy game where your entire goal is to not have enemies cross into your core. Like, I think she could probably use her everywhere, but you have to get a bit more creative with it. Like, you could probably just use her in all gear dungeons. Even if to just stop an annoying enemy. Like, you could probably smack her into every gear raid, every gear dungeon. You could smack her into every artifact material raid. The fact that she's a tactician means you can use her on both ground and air. So, you can probably use her everywhere. But it's just, she's not as straightforward as other units. I pulled for her, but you got 2 Yovas and a Durza. Oof. A0 Ardea is better in a Matrix than an A0 Suyu? Sure, why not? Dupe of Cain. Ouchie. Yeah, I mean, we wouldn't even be able to test her here if we didn't get a little lucky. In the sense that, yeah, we had 40. We had 40 and we got her within 30. Right? So, yeah. You can see here 3 hours ago, and there she is. So, yeah. Do I think Gushi would be useful in Gear Dungeon 3? I have no idea. I don't have enough experience with Gear Dungeon 3 to, like, talk about it in a confident enough manner for it to actually matter. But I think this is pretty ridiculous, no? The fact that it goes up to a 35% multiplier. Aren't usual artifact multipliers stopping at 30? Like, look at this, for example. Increases single target damage by 30%. Don't they usually stop at 30? His has a 35% multiplier, his exclusive. So it goes 5% higher. Vaughn also 35? Okay. True. I was hoping she might be better, but no dice. I mean, why would you use her in Matrix? Well, no, you should use her in Matrix, right? It's just, yeah, I think she's definitely best off in like 8-man content where you have 2 spaces and 2 places where you can still make things happen. 10-man content, like deploy and redeploy units in 10-man content, just probably more tough. Yeah, deployment time increase after death and whatnot. I mean, then again, it says after death, right? But yeah, like any content where there's like a deployment nerf, then obviously it's gonna hit her as well, right? Wasn't there something I wanted to do with Gushi? What was it? I could have sworn before he did his like 384 whatever million that there was something else I wanted to like improve, but I don't remember. We finally got a unit that works with his displacement mechanic. Onto a ground tile occupied by an allied hero. Yeah, but I don't think you need to do that. You don't really have to reduce the deployment cost of or deployment time of her. Like, I think that's just a bit of a gadget. Like, she can just redeploy herself so long as she kills 8 people, because then she can just instantly replace herself. Yova replacing Araka. True. Thank you. Yova replacing Araka. Just to kind of like see the limit of the limit. Now the question is, are we desperate enough to just also see... No, it's damage to airborne, so I'm not gonna do that. Oh, also I wonder. Give me your guesses. How big of a damage difference is there gonna be between him being factionless and him being with Yova? Because he does gain additional stats from A2 if he's not in a faction. So before we then actually see the result there, what would y'all be? What would y'all think in terms of numbers? What would that look like? 5 to 10%? Just put her here and I have no idea how to use her. Think of her as a spell. Think of her as like a meteor spell that you can take into your team. And that meteor spell also... Okay, I don't know. I guess an ice storm is better. Think of it like an ice storm. You can place the ice storm down. The ice storm is active for 25 seconds. For the first 10 of those, everything hit by the ice storm cannot move. And then the spell ends. And if you killed enough people, you can place the spell again. But you only have 4 placements for the spell. That's what she is. That is what she is. Pretty similar in terms of like idea to what, for example, a Xena was doing. 15% attack plus 45% damage versus 25% attack. Tough one. Yeah, that's the question. Is it a tough one or is it not? Alright, so Yovuvu, he needs to get the gear from Araka so that we can apply the buff. So we can be fair and just. You say Yova edges out in long battle. Let's see. He'll do 60 million damage more if he had a Yova. Okay, let's see. Also, do you think he's gonna break 400 million with a YUE if 384 was with a Raka? Place your bets now. Oh, also there was the second thing I needed to test. And that is if we're better off ulting from the second stage. Okay, shit, I guess we'll have to do 2 runs here. Because this A5 is a little special in its stack generation. Alright, then let's ult from second stage onwards. And see if that is worth it. Because it basically means he can now build stacks and ult. And at some point he's gonna enter the final form. Like, you see how he still has the stacks? I guess the only issue is he doesn't actually gain any stacks while in ult. So it might still be a damage loss. But I'd say it's a pretty reliable way of playing him, in the sense that he's instant stage 1. You can pretty much insta-ult if you wanted to, or you just wait a stage and then you can ult whenever you want and you still build the meter. But I guess he doesn't get to finish, huh? I guess he doesn't get to finish the ult, really. And this timing is just unlucky. But he's still gonna out damage. Yesterday's version, where we didn't wait. But he's not even... I think he's not even gonna be able to out damage the Araka version. No, he's not doing less damage with YUE. We played him in a different way. He's gonna do more. No, there is more than enough time. We played him differently. This wasn't the same run as what we did with the Raka. There's no need for us to find an explanation. No worries, no worries. So let's get it. But I think we at least partly now have our answer. Let's make sure he has the buff. He does. Okay. So then let's wait until he reaches full stage. And then let's see how much he can do. Alright, so there's still 3 minutes left. And he needs to do 360 million damage. Nothing is easier than that, right? A casual 350 million damage. At 2 minutes 40 left. Get it, boy! Alright, show us what you can do. Holy shit, did you see those numbers? On him summoning the 8 hits? That was multiple millions. And not just, yeah, like, yeah, straight up multiple. Just multiple millions there. It was probably like, I don't know, 16 million as like a finishing attack with like 8 hits at 2 million each. You thought Yova's bonus wasn't active unless he's fielded? That's never how it worked, as far as I recall. Like, you should see it in the fact that this is going to be more than 380 million. You don't have to field Yova. You never had to. It was always based on the units themselves being fielded. And that's why he's so strong, right? And there you go, we broke 400. And we might just get one more ult off. And that's the difference between Yova and Araka. Araka did like what, 395? 384? And we're now at 434 fucking millones. That is a big number. That is a big number. Poor Silas. Alright, enough. We've paid enough homage to Silas. Now, what changed? Or what do we do with this? Oh. Oh yeah, the No Lord. The No Lord performance. What about the No Lord performance? What if he just joins a team and is like, hey, how about I sit here and I watch and I'm gonna contribute, and nobody believes him, and then he just whips out the gazillions, you know? Let's see what that looks like. Could you imagine him doing more damage than with an Araka? I think that'd be a bit silly. Yeah, I always thought it would be so useful if in games like this we could like click a fold down button and it would show us like the final damage stats. It would make it so much easier to like min-max. I always thought it'd be really good in games to potentially have the ability to just see like final deployment values and stuff like that. Especially when it comes to like so many buffs and all that being applied. Gushi is keeping up with Silas before ulting. Yeah, because Silas also now doesn't have a Lord anymore. That's true. While Gushi might have lost his Lord, Silas did too. And, yeah. Okay, the damage is lower. This definitely wasn't the 2 millis we've seen before. But let's see what he can do. Would he work in Abyss? I think he works pretty good in Abyss in the sense that while there is the magic stage ongoing, he can just ascend to him into his higher form, which means for the first physical phase, he's going to be a bit weaker. And if you can break the shield, you could potentially even just not have him ult there. Though, yeah, he should then be in his most powerful state by the time you get into the second or the third physical phase. And his damage should be frightening. But no, there's still, I'd say there's, okay, we don't have the final numbers, right? But there is already a difference between him and with him or with Yova and with him versus Araka. Unless obviously there's a couple mil coming. You know, oh, that's crazy. No, okay. So, if you run him with an Araka, he gets like 3% better. Yeah. Poor Araka, man. She makes him 3% better than if he were on his own. Yeah, it's crazy. Must be post-deployment? Probably, right? I mean, it's the same as the Lord effect, the 25%. I think his stats are probably utterly ridiculous if we had the chance to look at them. Then would it be a good idea to get his A2? You do have a Soulstone because you have him at A1. I wouldn't be so hasty, but one thing I can rather confidently say in the game, at least from a value standpoint, his A2 is probably the most valuable A2 in the game due to the fact that before you do it, it actually does something, right? Like his A2 makes it so that he has a final form that he can ascend to, and when he's factionless, he does more damage. But what you also got to keep in mind is he might just lose out against another hero that would then actually get the faction bonus while he can't get it. And also, it does take 150 seconds to get into this final state. Also, look at this. His base attack is only 3,800. I wonder, would he go up or down if we were to increase, give him more attack than crit damage? He'd probably go down. I mean, he should go down. But he might not. Huh. Ooh, that's a very comparable piece. That is pretty good. Give me like a 50% or so. Like a 2.5. 1.8. But he does also get 70% penetration. So like we are very much in a situation where it makes sense to run him with crit damage. Let's see. Also, you need to remember that on this fight here, at least, the boss defense isn't that high, right? Just need the Araka A2. Ooh, what did her A2 do versus the A2 of Yova? A2 Yova was like anti-air damage, right? Just boost the stacks by an extra 5? Yeah, then it probably would be even more of a difference, yeah. No, it's also air damage. Okay. Could I make an all-star piercer team with this Silas, Lady A, Gushi, HE, Head? You mean Hex? Is HED would be Hex? I don't think Lady A does that much single target damage. Wouldn't maybe Akira be part of that all-star team? I heard good things about her, I just don't know how she works. Maybe does Akira do big single target damage? Akira's AoE, okay. I mean, I thought maybe she like summons a bunch of clones and they all like hit like a machine gun. All stars should always have Lady Mina. And what about the Draculaea? But no, yeah, I mean, I've seen Lady Mina do some numbers. It's eerily similar. I feel like the damage amount of using an attack piece or a crit damage piece comes out to something fairly same. So it doesn't really seem like we've changed anything. Which I think is pretty interesting. I mean, look at it, 420. You got Suyu in 70, got done twice too. It was so strange because he's not in the 20x. That is strange. That is really strange. But good for you. Her in 70 and a double Lord. Obviously, you might have wanted to get, I don't know, another Lord. But I mean, at least, like, let's say you had like high Lord Pity and then you hit and now you hit early, which means you can now build up Lord Pity again. I mean, let's have a look at piercers. What do the piercers have? Yeah, in terms of single target, I mean, maybe Sithra? Nah. Probably not. Maybe. Wasn't he sub 400k in crit damage with no Lord? Yes, but he got a Yova. We put a Yova again in. I wanted to compare it to like the top end. And I think it's like 14 million down. By having more attack. Oh yeah. Calypso, yeah. A good old Calypso. She'd probably tap out at like what? 180, 190? Gushi, to a degree, kind of feels like a better Calypso. It's, yeah, maybe that's actually rather accurate. Because he also ramps up, but he just ramps stronger. Hmm? No. What else do I want to do? Is there anything else I want to do? Maybe not. Bzing, bzing, bzing. Hui. Hui. What is the summon type for the Lulu banner? Is she like what is she? I don't know. Is she like just a banner, or is she like a limited, or also I don't know what she does, but I like the description here already. It's like Arm Guard, Jade Dragon, Key Fist Punch. The best piercer for boss content was always Hex. Silas was never the best in NM4 anyways. Alright, let's see then. The Old King. The Old King coming in to defend his people. I don't know. Hex wasn't really basic attack, was he? Like, I think Hex is still like a Soulbound Arcana type person. Or would it now be Cataclysm? I mean, his ult is pretty long. So... Oh, could we just run him in Inferno Raw? I'm unsure. Unsure. Yeah, he's gonna have his exclusive, yeah. On that note, let's augment that real quick. There we go. Oh, this one? Ah. Yeah, true. Yeah, we have I think we have a couple hex pieces. I'm gonna have to scour around and see what exactly we got lying around. Well, 14.7 fucking %, huh? Okay. During ultimate increases penetration by 5%. Huh. Ah, but it's not shiny. We need something that's shiny so that we can give it a perk. Attack percent, attack speed, crit damage, crit rate, yeah. No. 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 Any day now. It's only a case of hours. I mean, what are we even doing? 1 in what? 1 in 6. How bad could that be? Yeah, you think we need to swap once and then do it again? Alright, let's see if that helps. You were incorrect so far. Come on! Hello! Please! Oi, oi, oi. Oi, 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 oi. Oi, 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 oi. Does it even exist? Maybe not. Maybe it never existed in the first place. Also, we lost Rage Region as a role option. Like, completely. I don't know how that happened, but Rage Region isn't even an option anymore. I guess because we started on Rage Region? Yeah, okay, this is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. Ah, the balance is great. You've used more gems than I've gotten since release. Yeah. Yeah. But I think this is like a weird case. This never happened before. Like, this feels like something just being intrinsically wrong. Because we seem to be getting the same 4 options over and over again. I mean, it worked before. Like, before I could just swap to attack flat, I could swap to anything else. This just doesn't seem to want to cooperate. Which is tough. So we might actually just be better off abandoning the piece and trying it somewhere else again. Like, for example, here, surely we can just swap out the defense for speed and then it's all gonna be fine. Right? Like, is no way that we're going from one disaster into the other. Right? Like, it's a 1 in 6. How hard could a 1 in 6 actually be? We were just having a little bit of like trouble getting started, okay? Don't you worry. It will work any second now. The speed is actually real, if you didn't know. Like, it does exist somewhere in there. There you go. See, it does work. It does work. And we probably get a better result than before, which is alright. Okay, come on. 200 flat attack. 400 flat attack. Basic attack, summon chance. Wait, which stat is this gonna max? The crit rate. Alright. Then let's unmax the stat. Attack speed 20. Attack the 300. Okay, what is this gonna max now? Crit damage. Hey, I mean, that's a beautiful piece, but... Did they unlegendary my crit rate? I could have sworn we had two... They unlegendaried our crit rate, didn't they? I think they took like a few percentages away. Yeah, they took half a percentage of crit rate away from us. How dare they? When deployed, increase damage dealt by 10 for 10 seconds? Huh. God damn this. It makes sense, right? There's like, what, 30 different perks? Makes sense that it takes us a while to get something. So I think we just keep it like this and we keep it moving. Like, we've spent enough time doing what we've been doing. Rage region. We're trapped in another cycle. But luckily this time it's a right side piece. The right side piece is surely gonna be a lot more generous with us. We're gonna keep it like this for now. The reason why I'm even thinking about swapping it is just due to the fact that I want the same, like, stat lines between the two that we're comparing. Or at least as similar as we can reasonably make it. Okay, give me 50%, which is like 3% plus. Okay, there we go. And then the same here. Okay. And then the same here. Two and a half or higher, please. Okay. Okay. How is it plus 10,000? I don't know, but I think their stats are pretty similar. If we were to change Hex into the Gushi Yushi Yushi, look at this. we'd go down in attack. Wait, then how is this hex? Oh, the flat attack that comes from this one. What kind of stats can you roll? Max damage, healing effect, damage, defense, healing above, after being deployed. Okay. No. No. You know what? It's fucking fine. Enough is enough. Why are we using 2 crit damage mains on Hex? Because we can then at least compare them at the same stats. And we have 5% penetration on Hex here. And I think he also has some penetration in here somewhere else as well. But, no, it's mainly because we're doing this in Nightmare 4, and he's just gonna do more damage because the defense of the boss is pretty low in comparison to other sources. And also we have penetration on Diao. That's one of the best things about Diao as well, the penetration. Okay, let's see. Let's see what a Gushi can do against a Hexi. Let's see if a Hex can start hacking and somehow demolish Gushi. I doubt it, but I would be happy to see it somehow. I mean, he's doing some good ass damage. It was just never gonna be enough, most likely. He put up a good fight. And he continues to put up a good fight. But I think with the next ult, there's gonna be a bit more of a gulf that's harder to overcome. Or maybe not. I don't know. He seems to be doing pretty well. Shout out Hex. Let's see. I mean, Hex timing for the ults is definitely a lot more favorable. It's close. But then again, it probably would have been closer to like... I mean, I guess you could also say at least there's no Silas providing any vulnerability for Gushi as well. But yeah, 358 million from the good old Hex though. He is still very much cooking. And you could technically run the two of them in the same faction on the Inferno. It's just, I don't know how I feel about Infernals as a whole and the fact that, you know, all their ultimates get like interrupted whenever the Inferno captain decides, hey, we need to ult gentlemen. Maybe we should have ulted more. Maybe we did Hex a bit of a disservice by not ulting more in the beginning for the soulbound. It probably doesn't make that much of a difference. Did they not remove the interruption when Solka ults? I don't know, but I probably... I mean, I'm still thinking Twinfian does it. And if Twinfian still does it, that's still annoying. And if Pyro still does it, that's still annoying. But I mean, if there's no interruption whatsoever when Solka does it, then obviously Solka is cooking something hot. Yeah. Alright, let's see. I mean, Hex now 100 million at minute 30 in. Huh. Did he? Is he now doing more damage than before? Do we not fully stack the Soulbound Arcana? That is the question. Oh, 90 million difference. That's not bad. I don't think they did. He still stops your damage dealers. Alright. Alright. Then nothing much changed then. They are neck and neck, but it's just Gushi's fully powered ultimate state, like his A2 state, is just, yeah, it is definitely a powerhouse. Then again, A2 Gushi would probably lose against A5 Hex, because he loses the 50 seconds at the beginning that kind of gets saved by the A5. Where he only needs to go up 2 stages, not 3. Yeah, he'd probably lose a little more handedly. And he did even less damage Gushi right there. Why? I don't know. But he still beat out a Hex, which is... making him, I guess, the strongest piercer. Alright, I think I found out what I wanted to find out. It's once again been fucking 3.5 hours. Holy shit-o. And, yeah. Pretty much. So, as always, appreciate all of you tuning in. We had some fun. I might actually make a video on the Infinite Gushi Ultimates. I will definitely make a video on the Infinite Gushi Ultimate. I don't know if it's just a meme or if you can cook something devious up with it. But, I think it's a pretty fun interaction. And, yeah. What else? Do I make a video talking about Suyu? I don't know. Do I? Maybe. Sure, sure. If I feel like it, you're gonna get like 2 videos later today. Appreciate all of you tuning in. Been a pleasure. And yeah, we see each other in the next one. Whenever that might be. Peace.